You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a
looking
bat, I
at the
don't know, my
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
fastest
boils
rising
over
star
like,
in
oh God,
professional
here goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you had shut the fuck up real bad.
Shut up.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Hill of the Ring podcast. I am the Dawn of the Watch Along, BS Sports Jedi Kev, and welcome to the Hill of the Ring podcast, the NXT edition. I have a guest this afternoon or this evening. We got Beans in the building, and we got the man, the Tribal Chief, Terrence. Salute, Terrence. Salute, Beans.
Yo, what's good?
Hello. Good, man.
Good.
All right, gentlemen, I'm glad you guys, fellow NXT Universe members, we go each and every Tuesday. It's good to have you guys on here. Let's go right into the Rice and Beans, which is NXT 2.0, August 9th edition. We start off the broadcast for us that we really didn't see much, but we saw it on the Titantron. A bunch of video package promos. We saw that the NXT Women's Tag Team Champion and Kaden and Katana showing them. And then I love the vignettes. We saw the promos. We went right into Trick Williams talking about his match. We saw Wes Lee cutting a little bit of a quick promo. Cora Jade, Zoey Stark, Tony D'Angelo ahead of the episode. I loved it. I know we didn't get the essence of it because we were in the arena live, but it kind of reminded me. Remember when SmackDown used to do those things? Beans.
Yeah, they used to run those little promos that were going into the show, so that way you were able to see what's going on. Yeah, they should do that more.
So you like that. Terrence,
That's
are you a
pretty
fan of that? Also setting it up for the audience, especially for the casuals.
Yeah, you gotta get them a little bit more familiar with what's going on currently. You know, it's kind of like a little old school warm up, I should say, for everybody. But it was pretty cool, you know.
I agree. We open up NXT with a match, kind of a grudge match. We saw Kiana James with the video montage calling out Nikkita Lyons. Of course, Nikkita Lyons and the ladies start the whole NXT hot, get everyone on their feet, get everyone hot and heavy and aroused, you could say. The two beautiful ladies come out. But let's talk about before that there. Now that we saw, what's your thoughts? I'm gonna send you to Terrence first and we'll throw the Beans. What's your thoughts now? We saw Nikkita Lyons and Zoey Stark now being part of the women's tag team match for the main roster. Terrence, what's your thoughts? Good fit, not a good fit?
I don't really know because we have never seen them as a tag team before. It was like something they just put together. I'm a big fan of Nikkita. I've never seen, up until her debut or her return match, Zoey Stark like really have a strong like run before. So the fit between those two, I think, I don't know, maybe in the future, not right now. It doesn't make any sense right now.
All right. Beans, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Your thoughts of them, their pairing, especially us that we watch the different lady tag teams in NXT. What was your thoughts on that? Were you puzzled or excited, or okay, let's see where it goes? Are you open minded? What's your thought?
It was more of a let's see how this goes because it kind of seemed that, people were really thinking on, hey, maybe Toxic Attraction was going to be in that bracket, but when they put Nikkita Lyons and Zoey Starks, it was kind of like they just threw it together to see how it was going to go. And it kind of showed that, they were trying to show NXT some love in the main roster, trying to put something together, see how it goes.
I agree. I agree. So we get the match with these two ladies. The match before, as soon as it begins to lock up, you got some chops. Kiana James just chops the living crap out of Nikkita right on the chest. You saw Nikkita using her strength for shoulder tackle to knock Kiana James on. The match, you had some attempts of some suplex there. Nikita's too strong for Kiana to get the suplex. The work in ring ability between Nikkita and Kiana. What was your thoughts on the chemistry and the way the match us being up close and personal? Terrence, what was your thoughts on that?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, they have. I told you last night they have fought before.
Yes.
So they were like, as far as like being in the match together. I think they had, they had a little history there. But as far as like last night, I think if they like continue this little mini rivalry, I guess you would say, pending the women's tournament, I think it has a little bit more potential to be better. It started off pretty good with the match was like it was okay, but as far as like the storyline itself, as far as Kiana talking about or running these little vignettes or whatever you call it, whatever that word is, on Nikkita and like just kind of building that up a little bit. As far as that goes, and kind of leading into the match, I would say between these two, the first match with these two different characters or where they're at right now, it was okay. It wasn't that bad. The chemistry it could grow, but as far as last night, it wasn't that bad.
All right. I was gonna tell you, Beans. During the match, you had some near falls here from Kiana James. You saw some of spot where Nikkita goes for a like a butt buster and just misses and hits the turnbuckle pretty hard there. And Kiana James off the top ropes almost had a fall there. But we saw an angle, and I'm gonna go to you, Beans, and back to Terrence. An angle where we saw Kiana James working on Nikkita's knee. We know she has some issues with her Achilles, right? Am I mistaken that she missed some time off? She had a little bit of
ACL injury.
ACL. Yeah. Thank you. Mm-hmm. They're near the knee. So you saw her working that angle. Do you think what was your thoughts on that angle? And let me answer this. Do you think that they could use that to kind of like bait and switch, thinking we're gonna get Zoey and Nikkita, and we're gonna get maybe something different, another tag team, a mystery? I'll throw that to you, then we'll throw that back to Terrence.
That is a good possibility because throughout that match, yeah, we saw that Kiana James was working on that leg where she got injured from. So when we saw that, we're now thinking in our minds, hey, is she not going to be ready for, I believe, Friday, right? That she's going to be in the match. If I'm not mistaken, it's this Friday. Okay. When she was working the leg, most of us in the crowd were thinking, now what's going to happen? Is she not going to be ready? Because as we also saw from then, she also attacked her after the match. And now it's kind of like, are we going to see Lyons in the tag team match with Zoey? Or is it just now going to switch it up to now another tag team in NXT?
Interesting. Your thoughts on that same question, Terrence?
I mean, I think she was, well, as far as like my thoughts on her working on her injury or previous injury,
yes,
I should say.
Yes.
As far as like, old school wise, and then being like a little smart in the ring, to get your opponent, get a little bit more of an advantage on your opponent. You exploit that previous injury and try to, re-injure it or try to re-aggravate it and, take that to your advantage so you can, get their upper hand and possibly win the match. Um, I was I wasn't all that concerned, maybe a little bit, but um, as far as just her like using that as a tactic wise, I think that was pretty smart of her. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I believe they're working a storyline there. We see Nikkita Lyons win with her split leg drop. She gets the pin and gets the victory on Kiana James. But like James was saying, it wasn't over there. After Nikkita Lyons does a pauses to the camera, showing her raw, like we say. We saw Kiana James has a work bag or a briefcase, purse, whatever you want to call it, and just attacks her. Well, probably she has something heavy in there and just started hitting Nikkita Lyons over the head there. To me, it symbolized that this grudge match isn't over yet. And what that tells me was like, wait a minute, if Zoey and Nikkita go on a nice little run in the tag tournament, what's gonna happen with these feuds? Are they gonna get paused? They're gonna get, and I think that's not the match this Friday. I think this Friday, I think it's the I believe it's the top one. It's Nikkita and Zoey are the one on the bottom. They'll fight the following week, opposite as Bliss and Oscar. If I'm not mistaken, I'll pull that up to make sure, but no confirmation. Because SmackDown don't usually give you the card ahead of time. I try looking just to preview it, but who knows? I won't be surprised if it's not this week. I think it's next Friday. Beans. I might be wrong. I might be wrong there.
well, what would be dope? What would be good was, well, what I'm hoping for, I guess, in my opinion, is to have that their first tag team quote unquote match, hopefully to kind of get interrupted on the next NXT program after Heatwave. I'm just hoping that will happen. Possibly not. But I haven't seen anything. I don't know when they're gonna like do it. I don't know if it was announced or not. I think they're just kind of like going with the flow and seeing where and when they can put these matches.
Yeah, because this Friday is even if they were doing the way I was thinking, or I believe that I might be the way. This Friday will be the first. Man, I'm trying to remember the Smack. Oh, it's Raquel Rodriguez. Yes, Raquel
Hmm.
Rodriguez with Aaliyah taking on Shotzi and Zion Lee. That's the first. I think that's what we're gonna get this Friday.
Mm.
Being and Terrence, and I think
Yeah.
next Friday, I think we're gonna get the Nikkita Lyons and Zoey taking on Sonia and Natalia. I think that's how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because what I like to throw a little bit of conspiracy is, I'm thinking neither one of these Zoey or
Nikita.
Nikkita wrestles that match. I believe they're gonna get injured or taken out somewhere somehow in the backstage, and you're gonna see Sonya and Natalia gloat that they're gonna move on, and you're gonna see Adam Pearce come in. I don't think so. We got your replacements, and here we are. The Boston Glow is gonna come out, and I think they're because remember they're gonna be on the opposite side of the brackets from
That's
the
right.
Raw, and then you want to get
Yeah.
them eventually to face Io Sky and Dakota Kai or Dakota Sky, like
Oh, that's
Bailey
right.
says.
That's
That's
right.
what I'm
That's
thinking.
right. Well, no, that makes sense because I didn't. I'm not looking at the bracket currently, but I can still kind of picture how it was. I think I remember the Raw side being on the left side, and then the SmackDown side being on the right. No, I seen left, right, whatever it was. So that, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Then obviously with NXT being thrown in there, so yeah, it may happen. It may be pretty good.
Because
You never know.
I heard people say maybe Toxic might take their place and beat them up, and
That's what
they
I'm
won't
thinking.
make it, and then Toxic. But I still think it's to me. I still think it's Boston Glow. I think unless if they're going to be at the finals where they're
I
going to
was
come
gonna
up and
say,
say I'm really the champions and you're not, and we got the real titles, and you have an
Right. Yeah.
interim title for title.
yeah.
That could also work.
Well, I mean, like we was talking about Triple H bringing back like a lot of people and stuff like that. Uh, I don't think I think the biggest stage for Sasha and Naomi to come back on would be at Clash of the Castle. Like I don't think you save that for no disrespect to SmackDown. I love SmackDown, but I don't think you save that for SmackDown or Raw. You know, but I could be wrong.
No, you're absolutely correct with that there.
You know,
Um,
Maybe.
But
Oh.
let me throw this softball or this question, because the 16th, and then when that this week will be. And I'm trying to say, if they do that for that Friday and not let the ladies wrestle, there's going to be one go home show to the Clash of the Castles, and in
Okay.
and if you and before that go home show, that's when the ladies are supposed to wrestle from NXT. You bring them on there, they win their match, then they can have their match at Clash of the Castles, where people are going to say, oh, they're going to be like, oh, I want to see them wrestle. That I don't know. I'm trying to think of long term booking where you want to. They don't really need the eyeballs, because that pay per view is sold out, or that premium event is sold out with crowd wise. You might be right. Maybe it might be Toxis taking their place, and throw a whole hiccup there. It's fun, because here's the thing. Right now we're talking about NXT, but we're talking about the whole WWE and the unpredictability, and it's getting us excited with the endless of possibility, because anything that we could say could really happen. Beans, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm really thinking that it's a possibility that they might get attacked, probably before the match, and maybe Toxic can fill in. Most likely, it's going to be Toxic that most likely will come in and attack them from out of nowhere, and then they'll fill in for them. Or it could be the other way around, where they could bring back Sasha and possibly have the big return there. But with what Terrence said, I think their return should most likely be at a pay-per-view, because it'd be like a big homecoming for them. The fans would obviously enjoy it for them to be at a pay-per-view, but hey, it could go anywhere, right? It's WWE. It's always here and there.
Right.
But then also,
yeah, go ahead, Terrence.
well, no, I was just gonna say, but then also, so like, you know how they do people when certain pay-per-views come up, and certain storylines, because we got social media and stuff like that, and people talk and people find out about things way beforehand. So as far as the only downside to that, that I wouldn't mind them debuting on a SmackDown or Raw, people are expecting something a little big at any pay-per-view. Like any pay-per-view, people are expecting anything to happen. SmackDown and Raw, you don't really really expect anything to kind of pop up out of nowhere. Hence, Raw and SmackDown this week. Whereas Clash of the Castle or a Survivor Series or something like that, they're expecting a lot of people, like for example, The Fiend or somebody just to pop up out of nowhere. So all I'm saying is there's expectation at the pay-per-view. That would be the only downside to them returning there. But then in that same sense, I still think that it will make sense for them to return at a pay-per-view. But it's just expectation is what I'm saying.
All right. I just one more little thing before we go to the next segment was, here's the thing that put food for thought. The Fox and USA Network, the WWE TV deals are coming up. They're ready to get renewed. And remember, there is no Vince McMahon no longer part of the CEO, although we know whatever the case is. On paper, he's not the main guy no more. It's new regime, whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. If you bring these women and they bring a pop and they draw the eyeballs, and you're getting ratings where everyone's cutting the cord, everyone's going to apps, and people are not watching the shows or the program as it is. Mm-hmm. You do a 3 million, or let's say that dare I say 4 to 5 million on a SmackDown, because Naomi and Sasha returns, or they're gonna have their first match, qualifier match. That's gonna show that networks, we still generate the buzz to bring ratings, pay us, let's renew this contract, because guess what, I could put a product where people are gonna get excited to watch, Raw and SmackDown. So just wanted to throw that out as a food for thoughts.
No, that makes sense. Cause especially since you said the deals, the USA and the Fox Network deals are coming up. That's probably why and it's ironic that Triple H just took over in time around this time of the year where that's going to happen as far as those deals expire. That's probably a little bit more of the reason why he's doing these mini returns so soon between Karrion Kross and Dexter Lumis. So it makes sense how you said that.
Yeah, but it's exciting. All in all, it took us a little bit away from the NXT realm just to
Yeah,
show up, talk about the show, to talk about the wrestling WWE in general. That's
Right.
phenomenal. So it
yeah,
created the right Triple H, creative hand, Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, anyone who's in charge, who's in head of booking, whatever part of the behind the scenes. It got what they wanted. It got us talk about the whole company in general and the possibilities of excitement. So good kudos, good job there for the new regime so far. With that, any other remarks on this here before we go to the next segment?
yeah. No, I'm good.
I'm good as well.
Perfect. So we move on. We saw a promo, or we don't get to see too much of the promos. Us guys being live, you have to kind of watch it on your DVR stuff. We saw Diamond Mine with Apollo Crews watching footage backstage before Roderick Strong interrupts, very irate. He wants to know why Apollo Crews is there in Diamond Mine with them. He also says, get out, and they kind of got into each other's face, which sets up for a match down the later on in the evening. Says, I'll beat you up anytime, anywhere. So challenge accepted. So we get that match going on. Diamond Mine with Roderick Strong. Now Apollo Crews getting involved. Is this a one-time thing, guys, or you think there's something there developing, Beans?
I think there probably is something developing there. Like, it could possibly be Roderick's replacement, being Apollo Crews, to be joining Diamond Mine, because as we've seen from the previous weeks before then, how Roderick always screwed up with Diamond Mine, accidentally hitting the knee to one of his teammates, and so I'm kind of seeing the downfall of Roderick and possibly the Apollo taking over.
Terrence, we saw that promo together, and we were
Hmm.
looking and say, "What? Oh, something interesting there." What's your thoughts on that?
I think that was. I don't know if that was one of the. I don't know if they have a backstage segment before with Apollo, or what. I think this was the first time, right? That they did that.
Creed and Apollo. I mean, Creed. Yeah, Creed with the Apollo.
Cruise with Diamond Mine, like backstage
I
segment.
I
Or something
think
like
so. I think that
It
was
w-
the first
that,
time.
No, it was actually last week. Last week they had a little thing going on, but it wasn't a long segment. It was more of just a short talk,
right?
and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's why we really don't
When
remember last week.
Yeah, well, no, because like that's what, because I thought when they showed it, like when we were there, I thought it looked a little like more familiar. It made a little sense to me. Um, but to kind of like echo what you said as far as Cruz possibly taking over, as far as like I guess maybe like a semi leader or something like that. Um, it would make I don't know, it would make sense. I mean, Roderick, like I love Roddy, but like as far as like the storyline goes, um, you can kind of tell like as far as him, it's going downhill a little bit. Then also maybe just throwing Apollo Crews in there could, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but possibly could like maybe turn Diamond Mine heel-ish, and maybe making them maybe make it like a little ongoing storyline because this has been going on for a while. They got good chemistry as far as just like Diamond Mine themselves. Um, but like as far as the storyline goes, this has been going on for a while. So maybe this is just like a little like a thing that they do, and then like some people try to come in from the outside and disturb it or whatever, and try to like break it up and whatever. Um, but I mean, that backstage segment, it was. I enjoyed it. Like we didn't, like you said, I was trying to like rewatch it a little bit on the YouTube channel while you were talking, but um, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. I think they should continue it. I don't think Apollo should like continue um, to have like too much time with them. I think this should just be like a little like kind of like a little one-off ish thing if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Beans, your thoughts on that with Apollo? Where do you think that heads with Apollo Crews? What's your opinion on that?
I'm thinking Apollo is most likely gonna take over at some point, and I feel that Yeah, it's probably gonna turn more into a heelish group how it was at the beginning when Diamond Mine first started. I feel that it's gonna be more serious as it was before, and most likely we may see like a undisputed era type thing where they have most of the belts on their squad, but you really can't tell from then. But right now, it could be a most possible takeover for Diamond Mine to just kick Roderick out and just bring in Apollo since he bonds more with them, as we seen
Mhm.
during the that little segment there.
All right. I first was when I saw Roderick, and I said if they're gonna bring someone in to replace Roderick as a leader, or since Michael Bivens left and he's no longer the mouthpiece and all. Although Apollo could cut promo, I thought one name that it's not on the roster main that would have came down from the main roster would it be like a Sheldon Benjamin, because they kind of fit that Olympic gold medal type. I wish it was Kirk. I wish Kirk Angle will be in condition to want to be like a manager type of role,
Mhm.
or mentor type of role to help them get. Hey, I'm going to make you guys great. I'm going to make you, and I think they could work with Apollo. Say, hey, I was former U.S. champion, and all his accolades of winning gold and become a champion, how to conduct yourself and get you to that, become a more than a dime, a big shiny diamond, and that will work in my opinion. As far as heel, I don't know if they could have. I don't like Apollo as a heel. I think he was bad. I mean, not bad
Yeah,
like heel. I mean, I thought he was stunk. I don't. I kind of cringeworthy. I don't know. And Julius and Brutus. I don't know. They're too much baby faced in the way their mannerisms to be heels.
Well, that's the thing. Their mannerism, they're still like, as far as you can tell, they're still like they look baby faces, but
Yeah,
like you never know. They could just click that switch can click, and then all of a sudden you can be like, oh, where did this come from?
you're right.
Maybe I don't know.
Brutus goes nuts when they
Maybe.
go Brutus smash. So
Oh yeah, for real.
yeah.
yeah, you're right with that there. But it'll be interesting there to see what happens there as we move on for later in the match. That later in the night, we're going to see that match unfolding. We saw a backstage promo where Last Legend was on the phone talking. It was to me. I thought that was fun all night. I can't. I personally am a fan of Last Legend. I don't like her in ring ability yet, but I'm a fan of whatever she's doing, whatever she's gonna portray. I get it, and I want to see it play out. I want to see the development where it goes. We saw her on the phone, but she stops Malik late and it starts talking to him of what happened in the match between her and Albert Fire, and then the promos just cut. So I don't know because she's talking too much, and the camera like whoa. Or what? But I thought that was funny, Terrence. I know me and you laughed in the there. What was your thoughts on
Yeah.
that, real quick, on that?
I think it was just a whole bunch of like I couldn't really hit too much of what was going on because we're there in the crowd and stuff.
Yeah,
But all I could see was see her and like her like being on the phone and like when Malik shows up, her just like yapping, 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 yapping. I said something like she looked like a groupie trying to, you know, she noticed like one of her friends from high school like blew her up or something like that, and then now she's trying to like be all buddy buddy with him. Now she's trying to, that's how I kind of looked at it. Like I didn't hear anything about it. But yeah, it was interesting. I enjoyed it actually. It's like even though I didn't hear anything.
it was good. Beans, what was your thought on that promo, real quick?
It was a pretty funny promo because like she was just very pissed off at what happened, her loss against Alba Fire, and she was just taking out her frustrations on Malik, and he's just standing there, just like, well, I guess I'm taking all of this, just trying to listen. It's pretty funny promo. Hopefully we see more of Lash talking more because I actually like how she talks. She really gets to the point, and she has her comedy here and there, and I actually like that. It's very nice.
I
Very
agree with you on
charismatic.
that. That's why I'm a fan of it. I think we all in lockstep say we're a fan of that. Give us some more. Yes, please. So we'll move.
Hmm.
we'll move on to a kind of if you're look into wrestling purists, if you're a wrestling purist, you kind of get this. And I say, well, how the hell? Because they don't have this. It's rounds match. Now, back in Europe, in the European wrestling or in Europe, they use this type of style format with the rounds. There were 3-minute rounds. There's Wes Lee taking on Trick Williams. I like the promo that they run before. In the back, I like the fact that Trick Williams comes out with Carmelo Hayes, your RA champion, our North American champion. Now, let me ask you, Beans, the concept of this rounds match, what was your initial thoughts with it? And totally be brutally honest, at first I was like, and then I reverted back to, oh yeah, they do that in Europe. What was your thought?
For me, I thought it was just gonna go like just boxing the entire time. It was, for me, it was just like all over the place because it was like boxing and then to wrestling, and it was just like it kind of just felt all over the place. Just didn't really pan out.
All right. Terrence, your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, like he said, like I thought it was gonna be like the entire, like the whole thing was gonna be like a boxing thing. But it was, I guess it was good, pending the storyline that they're in right now, to not just solely have it as like one round boxing. I mean, as far as like all rounds boxing, I should say, it's good to mix it up. Because it totally threw me off guard in the second round. I was like, wait, why did you just take the glove off? Ain't done boxing? What's going on?
I agree.
But but it was they did do like a couple of spots in there where it was a little like, but as far as like just that, I think they should do a little bit more of those. Like as far as like the different storylines and whoever has like the next mini big rivalry, I should say. Because I think it can be like, it's enjoyable, like like they have the set rounds and stuff, the countdown, and the interference and stuff like that. It's interesting.
Yeah, I thought too. They had the first round. I like the first round. Being an older person to like boxing, being a boxing head, I enjoyed it. I was actually joking around with the give him the body. I was, trying to give my thoughts. I'm cheering and trying to coach the fighters. Hey, uppercut, go! And so it was kind of fun. It was like if you was at a boxing match, although it was a scripted match there. I love the fact the way Carmelo Hayes was the cornerman. He is like, to me, well, I'm a mark when it comes to Carmelo Hayes. I'm a huge fan of Carmelo Hayes. I think he's
Same.
I just go, they just sign me up when he goes to the main roster. I think a tear because we won't see him no more when he leaves NXT. But all in all, I'm a big fan of that. I love the fact that the round ended there with some good punches, body punches. No one won that first round, so we were going in a 0-0. But then we had the second round turned into a wrestling match. We saw some monkey flips, some arm drags. What I loved was, you got a fall there, but man, when Carmelo Hayes, I guess, apparently put brass knuckles in the punching in the glove and knocks the crap out of him. Yeah. Not only that knee, that was it the knee or the boot that really hit Wes Lee in the face and got him black and blue.
It was the boot. The boot that he does. Freaking folded him. I was like, oh.
Talk about Heatwave. He knocked the Heatwave out of him there.
He knocked a little bit more or something than that.
Flipped him inside out for that pin.
Yeah, that was a vicious pin. One of the best. If trust people, we were in NXT, all three of us live there in person. It looked really vicious in live. I hope it came across in your viewing pleasures. I hope it looked as vicious as it looked in person. Man, that was crazy. But all in all, we get a victory from Wes Lee. He gets the win. He wins 2 out of 2-1. But Trick Williams at the end, I don't know if that was part of the storyline or he really got injured because he got helped out to the ring by officials, and we saw the medic come in and speak with him in the ring. So hopefully he's not hurt.
He was there for a while because after he got hit with the punch and then got for the pin, and he was just laid out there for quite some time. I was like, is he selling it or is he just really hurt? And by the looks of it, as he was getting carried out with, I believe it was two people on his shoulders, I was like, ooh, this looks a little bad.
Yeah,
Right,
like
right.
I'm watching the highlights of it, and damn, and just like we were just talking about it, like when he hit him that last punch, he sold that pretty well, but then also, like you said, he stayed down for a while. So I think honestly, it was just a part of the storyline with a little bit of realism as far as like him getting hurt for real. Um, that he laid Trick out.
Just
But
that match right there just reminded me of Brawl for All. Oh man, it was just that knockout punch.
Butterbeam and Butterbeam and Smoking Gun.
Yeah,
The
it just reminded me of that moment. He just laid him out.
What do you think was worse, that knockout from Wes Lee to Trick, or that boot to what Trick did to Wes Lee?
the boot,
The
dude.
boot.
Both
It
of
was the
them was
boot.
I think
yeah.
if he did get injured, guys, I think it was a whiplash by him hitting the way he landed on the apron. That might have been where he got a stinger, a minor stinger on the whiplash.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
most likely.
That's what I think. Also, it was sucked was Carmelo Hayes couldn't help his friend back because he had to cut a promo. You know, it was a little bit of kayfabe, a little bit of inside the peak because we were in live there. Um, Carmelo Hayes wanted. You could tell he was a little concerned. That's why I was like, "Is this a storyline or is this a spot?" But he just stood there for a while too, and it's like, why is he not leaving? Why is he not attending his friend? And his friend just left. You know, like, go ahead, you lost. Get out of here, loser. But it was for it was for a reason. He cuts a promo of our North American champion, talking about the ring slander, you know, Wes Lee for cheating, whatever the case was, addressed Nathan Frazier for stepping in and wanting a piece of him. If he wants another piece of him, come on. He's waiting. All of a sudden, Frazier's music pops. So I'm like, oh, are we getting a North American title defense here? But from behind, out of nowhere, Giovanni Da Vinci in a black all suit, buttoned up, looking like a main roster guy, like a badass. Steps behind Carmelo Hayes, and I said they're gonna go at it. He challenges Carmelo for the North American title at Heatwave. When they made that, what was your initial thoughts, Beans? Because both are heels. That's what I like about NXT. They don't mind putting face versus face and heel versus heel. What was your thought, Beans?
This match is gonna be great. I know for a fact that at Heatwave, all hell is gonna break loose because both of them, they're great. I especially love Giovanni. He always looks like $1 million every time with the Gucci shorts he has and the $1 million suits he's always wearing. I was like, man, this guy is gonna be great in the main roster. I can't wait to see more.
Terrence, your thoughts on that promo and
Hey
your
man,
thoughts? Invested or not invested?
I'm invested. I was telling you last night. He looked like he came down from the main roster
He
to
did say that.
confront Carmelo, and then like I thought they were going to go at it a little bit, but he held his own, man. He looked really. Carmelo did too. Carmelo did a hell of a job as well. I'm a big fan of Carmelo as well, but as far as just like Giovanni himself, like he looked like, why is he in NXT right now? But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. It was cool.
Right. I'm also another guy that two guys that don't be surprised by Survivor Series being the main roster. Either SmackDown or Raw, no matter where it is, as long as they're going to be there. I think it's only a matter of time for Carmelo Hayes to go up there because his microphone skills is phenomenal. His mannerism, he looks like he'll be fine in the main roster. And maybe a little bit timid, yes, maybe a little timid because he's a really humble kid. Saw him backstage last night in the parking lot. He looks like he's really gracious to the crowd, even though he's a heel, but he still respects that the crowd loves him. It's funny because I think he's going to be the face when he goes against Giovanni next week in Heatwave. That's going to be a hell of a match. I want to see the fast-paced action on these guys because I think that might be candidate of match of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait. And That's why I'm ready for Heatwave. Like that's one of the main matches I'm ready to see.
Yes,
That's gonna be a
I can't wait.
good match.
Yeah,
I
because
love it.
as we've seen Giovanni throughout the past few weeks, his matches they've been phenomenal. Those matches that he had against what was it, Apollo?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
man, he's really got it. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be crazy.
The
The
moves,
same
because
can be said. Yeah, yeah. The same can be said for Carmelo the past couple of weeks too. Especially was it last week or 2 weeks ago when he fought Nathan? It was last week. Yo, that match was
Yeah,
that
man.
match with Tony
Yeah,
D'Angelo, that was another good
yeah.
match.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
yeah,
You could
Man.
tell that Giovanni's ready because the a lot of them the moves that they allow him to execute in the ring, not certain performers are allowed. You know, you could tell that certain performers are not allowed certain suplexes or certain moves just for safety precaution because they're not quite ready there yet.
right.
And
Hmm.
but when it comes to Vinci, the former Fabian Eitner, they allow him to do all the. He has free range, and I thought that match with Apollo showed. I think that's another reason why I always said I think Apollo Crew is not just there to jumpstart and kick him up, but to see who could keep up with his level at the speed and make the match look good. So I guess okay, I think this person is ready to go up. I think Roddick, when we see later on tonight, is a test for to see if he's main roster ready or what they're going to do with him. The same with Giovanni and Braun hasn't fought Apollo yet, right? Am I missing something here?
No, I don't think so.
No, he
Yeah.
hasn't. They
That's
only
going to
did
be
the
another test there. That when all the opponents that Apollo has had, there's a bit of I see it as a little bit of a that's like a test of a final test, and we're going to see if you're going to pass to keep an eye on if we're going to ready to elevate you. That's the same thing when Natalia Neihart came down and took on Cora Jade. Cora Jade has some good matches there, and I thought she was going to be main roster bound. But then a couple of weeks later, after Natalia left NXT, she had a couple sloppy matches, and I go, not ready yet.
right.
So that's what I'm thinking they do that when they send their. I think they did the same thing when they send um in January.
Oh,
AJ Styles came down to NXT and he had a couple matches too. If I'm not mistaken, and then they elevated. Man,
Yes, it
I
was.
digress,
yes.
but I think that's what they do there. But before when we move on to the next, there's going to be a couple series of promos. I'm just going to say them real quick, and then we'll get to the eventual match that will lead there. First, we'll go with this promo before I'm skipping a little bit because I want to do this promo that will lead to the match. First, we saw another promo in the back with Lash Legend speaking to Monique Blade, and before Anofi joins the conversation about Legends match against, and then they went to a commercial break. They cut her off again when she was talking. Another comedy spot, which was good. I loved it. I know you guys enjoyed it. Then we saw another video vignette highlight of the feud between Jordan Devlin or JD McDougall and Braun Breaker ahead of their match in Heatwave. They're just prominent it up, highlighting it. You see the McDougall being in a sauna, Braun Breaker with a sledgehammer into a wheel. They're training. They're pumping up. They're letting us know this is a big deal next week for the NXT title at Heatwave. I like the build up. I really do enjoy that. Before I get to the next promo, did the champion JD Braun Breaker? What do you guys thought real quick on that?
The entire feud itself so far has been awesome.
I like it too.
It's been awesome, and then like that package they put together, WWE is phenomenal when it comes to packages, bro. But that package last night was pretty damn sweet. I enjoyed it. That gives me more hype for the match itself, you know.
For me, when I saw that promo package, it kind of reminded me of when Sean did his promo package against Brett when they were working out. For me, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a very important match because as we've seen JD McDonough back in NXT UK, he was very crazy, especially when he had the Cruiserweight Championship. He was always with those crazy moves he does, especially that finisher he does with that suplex, because it's like, man, is Braun Breaker gonna really have trouble with JD, or is he gonna be able to fight through and win?
I agree because it really gets you invested to see that match. Um, just let. I don't know if it's right now. I feel like it's 50-50. We're gonna get a new NXT champion. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, I feel the same as well. Because I feel that if JD wins the championship, it's a possibility Braun might go up to the main roster, or if Braun retains, we'll still probably be able to see that he's either gonna move on or this feud may continue. Which I think most likely he's just gonna move on. But if JD wins surprisingly, Braun may be ready to go to that main roster, and I'm thinking he's probably ready.
Right. I'm gonna throw an idea out, and I'm gonna throw an idea that you heard it here on the Heal the Ring podcast. If they were to bring Braun Breaker up, this is me. This is my booking. Me, if I would love to see him team up with Madcap, and you have a new Steiner Brothers kind of tag team. I love it.
I like that.
Hmm.
Especially both of them.
I gotta work for that WWE creative, man. I'll throw you some good nuggets yesterday, Terrence. I was like, oh man, that was
man.
Because the way they're both built, the way that they're both built, they both look like the next tag team that freaking be crazy. The next Steiner Brothers right there.
They'll be right there, next Steiner Brothers. I thought Rick Brood was another one that I thought about it. Rick Brood teaming up, but Rick Brood is still recovering from that knee injury from the ACL. But I was like, you know what? You could make it work because they need more tag teams, and you put them as Matt Caps. He is that happy-go-lucky, but also serious. And I think Braun Breaker as well with that mean look, and they're both faces that will work, bro. They will work. That work on both of them. I personally, if I was in charge of creative, I would try to make it work or try to get them tagged together. Then eventually they could go on their own separate ways and still. Braun is so young and so is Madcap. They could eventually go on their own and become individual singles champions. Right now, since the singles are so packed, we got heavy hitters. You don't want Braun to get lost in the shuffle. So let him run some tag team promos. Get on the mic. Get popular. Similar to a la Montez Ford and Dawkins, or even better. I would like to see that personally.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point because especially since Trips is bringing back all these people, it's going to get crowded back there. So that's a good point. Put them in the tag team.
Yeah, and also you get the tag team going. Like everyone says, don't invest in tag team. No, nonsense. Put this there.
You have to. Who else do they got besides the Usos, Street Profits, Chad Gable, and
Alpha Academy? Yeah,
that's all I got to think of. I'm sure I'm missing some people, but
the Viking Raiders and stuff.
Raiders,
yeah.
New Day,
New Day.
Yeah.
Okay, we still got quite a few teams.
Yeah, but you don't really see them that much.
Fresh tag teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it is better to bring new tag teams into the mix because it kind of goes to show that the main roster is looking fresh in the tag team division. We're seeing new champions here and there, and if that were to happen, Braun Breaker with Madcap, I'd really give the Usos a run for their money.
Exactly. I would love to see that. I mean, that'd be phenomenal if they were to get that going there. And we'll see. We shall see, man. That's just fantasy. That's the Heal the Ring, the Jedi Force. Trying to see if I can get that going there. But we'll go to this final promo here. We got Andre Chase with a complaint with Adriana Grace complaining to Andre Chase about Thea Hale and Brody throwing a ball that knocked her in her face, gave her a black eye. So it looks like Andre Chase was going to settle this, call Thea into the office until Adriana says she's going to sue, and Andre Chase decides to go ballistic. He says, "You guys going to be in the first match ever," and he curses and he throws her out, and we set up the match there. We get the match. Thea Hale says, "I'm going to get my first match. on NXT." But these two ladies have fought and leveled up before. We were seeing it. But all in all, Thea Hale with Brody and Andre Chase taking on Adriana Grace. Adriana Grace, the daughter of the legend Santino Marella. comes out there. Personally, I am a fan of Adriana Grace. I mean, you know, I'm a fan of Adriana Grace. I do like Thea Hale. I do. Thea Hale is such a ball of energy. I'm not a big fan of Chase Hugh. They're cool, their section, but the reason why I don't like is Brody with that flag doesn't let me see. Man. He just waves that flag in front of my face.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why you don't like that.
That's why I don't like it.
The flag problem.
Yes, I got a little bit of a flag problem. But all in all, the ladies get us a match. Hale hits her with a draw mat on drag. Grace, you could tell the ladies are limited in what they're allowed to execute. But, you know, all in all, you had a lot of wrestling with some chokes, some holds, you know, the slow. And I guess for certain crowd members, it gets kind of like run down or a cool down period. But all in all, it served a purpose there. The ladies get the ladies in front of a camera, get them in front of, although Adriana knows how to wrestle in front of an audience, been doing it in the spotlight, prepared for this moment, as well as Thea. She might be, that's more like for her, kind of her debut. All in all, I thought the match was really okay. Did it have some times it was like, yes, but Adriana hits a big boot on Hale before hitting her with the wasteland slam for the pin and the win. What was your thoughts on this match? I'll go with you, Terrence, first.
It's pretty, I don't want to say back and forth, but you kind of mentioned it there too. Like there's a lot of like holds and headlocks and like a little burst of like something from somebody and then like back to the hole and then going back to like a little burst of somebody doing something different and then going back to the hole. So like it was a decent match, you know. It wasn't like 5-star or anything like that, but I know this is Thea Hale's first match, but she didn't look that bad. She has a long ways to go. Or Ariana Grace as well, but I'm more of a fan of hers too, to be honest. And since you mentioned that, I didn't know what the name of her finisher was, and like that reminded me of a lot of what Wade Barrett did when he first joined NXT or something like that. I think that's the exact finisher he had, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. But like it wasn't that bad, you know. It wasn't a sleeper. I just put it that way.
No, it wasn't a snooze fest. Beans, tell me your thoughts on there. Adriana winning that match there. It's good for her to get that because she's been a longer tenure in NXT. Thea just kind of got here, and that was her first match. I thought it was okay. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the match was all right. With the holds and everything, it was good, but I felt like the holds were just a little too long. Like they could have done a few holds here and there, probably like switch it up on the holds a bit, but you know, they would get from one hold and then just stay there for quite a while before they do that small little burst of moves. But it was all right. I just felt like their holds should have been like a little different. They just kept holding on to like a headlock and just kept it there for like maybe like 2-3 minutes or so, and then they would just try to do a move and then just go back into the headlock. It was here and there, but overall the match was all right.
I figuring out those holds when you said the headlock and break and go back. I like the fact, this is one thing we forgot to point out. Adriana, typical heel, kept pulling Thea's hair and knocking and grabbing her, and without the referee seeing it, that's a good sign there. Because even though it might have been boring to some folks, but if you're looking at wrestling one-on-one, what the instructors are watching them on the floor, because when you do a little bit of a peek, let me get Terrence back in. Sorry, Terrence. Sorry, it hit the wrong button.
I'm backstage now.
I hit the button by mistake. I just saw. So what I was saying is when we a little bit peek to the audience is whenever these performers have a match on the opposite side where you don't have the camera well, there's instructors grading and watching these wrestlers perform. You know, there's the producers who coach them all week and see how their in-ring abilities are, along with the referees. Everyone there is being judged and watched. Besides us, the audience, there's also them, and they got those kind of things that she did by grabbing the hair, putting her down, getting that proper heel heat. That's what they want to see and help them in the character development. I think the wrestling skills, the in-ring ability will come, but they want to see those mannerisms of a wrestler, but if she's going to be a heel, and how she executed, I think went a long way when it came to Ariana Grace. Even when she was getting hit, when Thea was doing her comeback, getting in that, getting inspired, the faces that Ariana was getting, like, oh, like, you know, getting hit, and you know that turn, and I think it worked. I think there's something there. I hope they get her with. Hope she gets more into the skill set. I think there's got something going with about another 8 months with her in NXT. She'll be this time next year. She'll be a main player in the roster.
Yeah, she has a lot of. I noticed that from Ariana last night too. She had a lot of good like heel expressions like in her face and stuff like that. I was just paying attention to that too. So she's doing pretty well with it too. And she's a natural-ish heel. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of that, especially because she has a lot of potential, especially because as a heel, she works more as a heel, because as a face, I don't think it would really work out as of her being a face. So as a heel, she's really working pretty good, especially with those facial expressions. Though, I'd like to see more of her as a heel.
I agree with you. We shall see. We'll keep an eye on her career. I think it's going to be fun, and for Thea as well. Nothing wrong with Thea. I think, you know, she's going to get over. She's going to keep Chase U over, because not for nothing, she comes out like with the ball of energy, especially when Mr. Chase stands there with his fingers on his head, you know, and Brody, you know, with his goofy look there with the flag.
Yeah.
She just runs around them like a freaking Jack Russell Terrier with a ball of energy, and I love the way she just goes there and she just she fits Chase U. That gimmick, if they ever thought about when they created that, they didn't. She was meant to play that role. She's perfect.
Yeah, she has a lot of. She doesn't need any coffee. She doesn't need any energy drinks or nothing. She is energy. Granted, she's young, but she is energy.
She's
energy.
energy,
No,
and I
just
love
kind of like I digress a little bit, but as far as like relating to Ariana being like the heel, it's not really related to the topic. Well, I guess it is. But I saw it on Instagram. I follow her on Instagram. I seen like she had this little video and like she slapped somebody's hand and she was smiling, and when she turned around, she just like she wiped.
She wiped it. That was Grimes.
Yeah.
That's the guy that had the sign with the. Yeah, she wiped it. She's like, oh, germs.
It's like, I love my fans, but not their germs.
Not their germs. I love that. That was great. You know, she gets it. She gets second generation wrestler. She gets it. And it's gonna be fun to see her grow in NXT. Hopefully, they know with no, you know, I don't know if there's no budget cuts or whatever the case is. Hopefully, she wants it. It looks like it because she's invested. Hopefully, she wants it and invested, and she's gonna go as far as she puts her hard work in. And I think she's got it. It'll be interesting to see. We'll move on. We saw backstage that it was revealed to us that Solo Sikoa has a sprained PCL. Now he's going to be out for a few months here. Like, what the hell is going on with Solo Sikoa, guys?
Most likely it was the that table spot at the end of the match, because as we saw, I guess what he was doing was a headbutt, but he kind of landed really hard on his knees winning, and it just didn't look right at the end when he just rolled over and used his hands to pin him. I was like, ooh, he probably is hurt from that.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I enjoyed that match, but
yeah,
I didn't even think about that till you mentioned that, because he did.
Yeah,
it was a headbutt, but yeah, I didn't like, because when he lands, and granted it's not soft out there when he lands too. So, but that probably pretty much I think what happened.
That's why they don't let them do certain moves. That's why they're limited with their wrestling ability in the ring. When we notice some of the wrestlers, I'm like, why don't they just do it? Why don't they do a suplex here? What's up with the belly to belly, or just a simple belly to belly, or a suplex, or a simple submission hold? You know, sharpshooter. That's not that hard to do, but they don't allow these moves for a reason. I can see why.
Yeah,
it was a street fight, so they probably wanted to do a little bit more extra with that.
And then we saw Cameron Grimes, talking to Sikoa. I don't know if they were teasing, was that like a sarcastic, that's a shame type of thing with Sikoa, or he was really concerned? It was kind of weird, right? That was kind of like, and then when he was leaving, we see Joe Gacy. stop him.
Yeah.
Boy, Joe Gacy has a hard on for Grimes, man.
Yeah, it's
Um,
something.
He's got a
I
thing
hope,
for this fella.
yeah, I hope that it doesn't go the way it goes. How that he joins them because it's gonna be kind of weird how you'd have Joe Gacy and Cameron Grimes. I mean, it could probably work, but just now, it just I don't know. It kind of looks weird.
No, no.
Yeah, I don't know where that goes. Now I think that's gonna be a feud, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a feud. We'll be see interesting there. But we get the match here finally. We're gonna have Apollo Crews taking on Roderick Strong in a match that it had good, bad, and ugly. In my opinion, I thought the match was okay. It was good. The second half, the first part was told a story, but during like in the certain parts weren't so hot. I like guys were like, what do we do next? It looked like Apollo was the one in leading the match. What we're gonna do there, and I wanted to see more an aggressive Roderick Strong, but Roderick Strong at times looked kind of a tentative. Take the lead, do some chops, go, and at times it looked a little sloppy-ish. I don't know if it was nerves or he still needs more seasoning. But damn, you kind of old Roderick to be still in NXT right now. You should be getting, yeah. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts, Terrence?
I think it was their first time fighting each other too. But
You might be right.
you know how sometimes, and it's very rare, but sometimes when wrestlers fight each other for the first time, like the chemistry is like that, like it works immediately. And then others, it takes a while, and then you try to like, obviously, they talk through the matches, so they try to like do some things and stuff like that. And eventually, it kind of builds up to where it's like not a spectacular match, but it's doable. So it wasn't like, I think that was their first match together. Yeah, there was like some spots in there that was a little like boring and a little sloppy-ish, but for the most part, I mean, it got some. I didn't agree with the chants, but it got some
No.
business awesome chants.
Yeah.
It wasn't awesome, but it was a fairly okay match. I think like I said, if they fight again, because like we were just talking about it earlier, as far as like Apollo and the Diamond Mine storyline, if they fight again, I think it's going to be better.
You might be right. Beans. We saw a bunch of suplex. Apollo Crews. We were cheering Suplex City. Apollo does those kind of suplex well. Certain talents like a Giovanni Apollo, who they trust to do those kind of moves. Sometimes I'm like, why don't some of these other wrestlers don't do it? I guess that because they trust them in their execution. Your thoughts there with Apollo Crews? Did you thought the match was a little too long? Let me give the result. The winner of the match was Apollo Crews getting the victory. A hand spinebuster on Strong for a pinfall. Right result, or tell me a little bit about your thoughts, and I'll throw it back to Terrence so you could close it out, Terrence.
I'm gonna say yeah, it was the right result. The match, I would say it did go a little too long. I would say I feel like some moves should have probably been removed from that match. Like I'd say there was that moment where he did, what was it? Roderick did that enziguri on the side of the rope, and then that back suplex on the apron. I felt like that was probably a little too much from them because they just did those moves to bring the crowd up, because at the beginning of the match it was holds here and there, and the Apollo Crews winning, it was right, but I don't know if you've noticed now, we've been seeing that Apollo hasn't been using his spin out powerbomb now, as you've been seeing, because that's usually his main finisher, but now he's been doing this one-handed slam, and I'm kind of seeing that they probably told Apollo Crews probably backstage that that move is probably a little dangerous for the wrestlers, especially since it's NXT, have people training there. So the winner, yeah, Apollo Crews should have won that, but I don't know. The match was just a little too long.
Yeah.
All right, Terrence.
Yeah. I was I was kind of enjoying it a little bit, but then I was kind of like that. Like, when is it going to end? Like, because
I was
it
the same
probably
way.
it probably was like because that they could have shortened it. They could have like kind of deleted some moves and not really carry on too much because I felt like they were trying to do a little. I think they were trying to like wake up the crowd a little bit more because when you see when the match started, dang, when Roger first came out, it was just dead silence. Unfortunately, but it's like it carried on from like the beginning of the match. It was just like it was a little silent in there, and then like as it progressed, the crowd got a little antsy, and then they did a few things, and I guess they were trying to like make them make a little bit more noise and trying to get the crowd a little bit more involved in it. So they did an okay job with that, but not a spectacular job. But now as far as the right person winning it, well, yeah, it made sense for the storyline for Apollo to win because if you recall, um, during the night, Roger was talking to his guys and something like that. In the promo, he was like, I don't know if he said something to like he didn't need them or he told Apollo that he didn't need them and they were his guys or something like that or whatever. So I think it was just more of storyline wise trying to prove him wrong, and then like ended up not winning the match, and having Apollo winning it, and then having him go on that little rant. But um, it was like I said, it was their first time, so they did okay. It was good.
All right, we'll move on from there. Personally, if they have another match, I hope it's shorter and I hope it's crisper. You know,
Yeah,
show me improvement from your first match. If I want to see now a wow factor on improving, can you give me a better match than the first one you gave me? Then you know what, we got something cooking as performers, and as developing for Roderick Strong. If he gets better and Apollo Cruz to carry Roderick Strong, he kind of did, but it just they need more work. Hopefully, next time if they do a match, they rehearsal, they get it ahead of themselves, and they get it
yeah.
working there.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of quick promo vignettes backstage with actually well kind of few of them. I'll go with them quickly. We'll go, of course. Last Legend continues to hoot and holler backstage before Anofi reminds Legend that she lost her match against Alba Fire. But then Pretty Deadly comes to Anofi and Blade, never to interrupt a woman. But Blade says you got some pin up aggression for later. They're gonna have a match later on. Listening to Last Legend for over an hour, so she there kind of like had it with her, but she just kept, which was I loved it, and I thought it was good. But then we move on to the next promo. We had Yulisa Leon and Valentina Flores discussing their participation in the women's fatal four way, but the NXT champion Katana Chase and Carter told them that they will be getting a chance soon, which I like that because we got to see the champs in the building. They leave, and I like Zanga telling them to clear their minds, and he's going to help them get them ready. Personally, I think Leon and Valentina, not soon, but when Katana and Chance title reigns comes to an end, I think they're the next tag teams, women tag team to hold the belts. My opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see
And
that.
I think they're growing as an in ring performer. I know one thing they got to get rid of that get up kind of their intro, their get up is kind of cheesy-ish, but I like their work, and especially in the four way in the Fatal Four Way last week or 2 weeks ago when they had the women's title. Especially when Leon threw Valentina, just slammed her across all five ladies. The way they tag, the way they communicate in the ring, their chemistry as a tag team, they're impressive. They don't really botch. They just right now they just don't got the right heat or over with the crowd to where you want to see them more. When you think of them, you're like, oh, I want to see them, and they don't really get that love from the crowd, the participation. Maybe with Sanga being either kind of a manager type of bodyguard role, I think might help get the ladies over. Hopefully, they exploit that going forward. We shall see there. And then we go to the promo before we get to the big one. We get Julius Creed was noticing something on in the footage. You see Creed, Julius, Brutus, and Damian Kemp watching it. When they're about to show us what it was, they saw something in their footage from that 8-man tag. Aim Storms, Strong, getting upset. Said, "Where were you guys?" And I think Brutus gave him a good answer. He goes, "Oh, that
Yeah.
was a test.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
That was
crowd popped. He's like, oh.
that was
Uh,
great." Because they asked, because before that I botched that, because before that earlier they asked him, "Where were you last week when we fought Tony D'Angelo for the tag team titles?" And he goes, "Oh, I didn't. I was on my way, but it was a test to see how you guys did." Like, yeah, all right. He just didn't show up, so they got to use that back at him. But when they noticed something, Roderick Strong gets mad. I don't know if he knew there was something in the footage or he just lost his temper on that answer. He slams the laptop away from the footage and they cut away. So they're building up a dissension or friction, a possible break in between the Diamond Mine. We already saw Roderick take on um, Julius on a one-on-one match, and also we saw taking on also Damien Kemp. So they have wrestled each other, but we find out something bigger looks like is about to brew. And then we get to the big sit down. And to me, it looked like Bowen Park, but anyway, who knows? Tony Escobar and Tony D'Angelo, Santo Escobar, they sit down in a beautiful fountain. There's a table out of nowhere. So
Random.
kudos to Fernando, who checks us in NXT. He must have took his pickup truck and took the table over there, because there's a table all of a sudden.
yeah.
So we get to hear this. Santo Escobar says, obviously the family's not working well together, and we got a stipulation for Heatwave. Santo wins. Legado Fantasma's free. Now, I'm a little bit confused. I want you guys to help me out. And if D'Angelo wins, Santo Escobar leaves NXT, but he has to. The family stays in his hands. Now, if Santo wins, they're all free. That means that he stays in NXT, or he's gonna all along leave NXT, and Legado Fantasma, the rest of the family, free to do, like, stay in NXT and wrestle, singles on Beans. What was your take on that?
Um, I'm thinking it's they weren't really specific on it, but I'm thinking it was just that if Santos wins, he's gonna have the family free from D'Angelo, and it didn't say anything else about that, but this match is very important because for it to be Santos being banned from NXT, this is gonna be very sad. And because if it happens, if Tony wins, it's gonna break my heart to see that. But for it to be a street fight, this is gonna be one hell of a match. The Heat Wave is already looking great. This card is big. This card, I can't wait to see these matches. These are all important matches to me because, you know, especially this one, because Santos, man, I love this dude. And if he loses and gets banned from NXT, man, this is gonna be very heartbreaking. And it also goes to show that him being banned from NXT, if he loses, they're most likely gonna have him go into the main roster.
Terrence, your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they did a fantastic job with this storyline. Like, it's one of the best in, dare I say, NXT history that I've seen thus far. Just because of where they've been and what they've done already and where they're going. As far as just like seeing and them two just sitting there and they're talking about it, like if Santos loses, he has to leave NXT, but if he wins, the family stays together. I think I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the other two guys that are with Santos. I'm not really sure about that one. I don't know if they leave. If he loses, they leave with him, or if they just stay with Tony. And I don't know. But as far as just like this entire storyline itself, leading up to the big match, which is perfect because you got two bosses going against each other, Santos and Tony. It's pretty dope. I wish Heatwave was tomorrow because I'm ready to see this match already.
Right.
You know,
I agree. Here's my take. I think there's two things going on here. In that I'm 50-50 on it. Like I'm trying to gasp it. I'm thinking Santo Escobar is gonna go up to the main roster. You know, I think Tony D'Angelo is the wrestler that sends folks out of NXT. Like he's the Don. You know, so he's called the Don. He made Ciampa leave and so forth. They actually referenced that as well, which I love that. They didn't just pretend that it didn't happen. I think Santo was ready to go to the main roster, but me personally, I will bring all the Legado Fantasma up. I know the wrestling community in SmackDown and in Raw don't really know them like we do. They won't. That when they hear that music pop, they're not gonna pop the way we want it. That's why I would have loved them if they would have brought them up. They should have brought them up on the SmackDown in Orlando on the 15th of July. That's when they really needed to bring in and debut some of the NXT talent, because of the people that are in Orlando. At least if we know that we're gonna move, we'll go and go create a group would have went and said we're gonna invade SmackDown NXT universe, and when the Lago Fantasma music goes, we're gonna actually get the crowd. Why are they going pop? All right, because people just say follow the leader, follow a monkey see monkey do. Oh, they're cheering, let's cheer too, and then that wave starts going on across the country because in Orlando they cheered the hell out of these Legado Fantasma. Let's do the same thing, that's another, it passed already. We lost that window. But if you bring Santo Escobar, if he loses, he goes up to SmackDown, he could start another Legado Fantasma family. You got Los Lotarios doing nothing really. Another tag team. And why are we stereotyping? No, because it works. You could say the familia or la raza, because we saw that when LWO in back in the day, where the NWO were Latino World Order, and they kind of have the shirt like Alfantama looks like a Latino World Order. You could bring that there. You could bring the Lotarios and then make the Lotarios character a little more badass, because now you have Santo Escobar. If Santo Escobar wants to come out with a mask, let him come out with the wrestling mask, because that's I think he debuted in NXT before he took right. So,
he did?
Yeah, he debuted with because he used to be in AAA. He used to have a purple mask. Yeah, he debuted originally with a purple mask when it was in the black and gold era.
Because I know I've seen him before NXT, but I know when I seen him before NXT, I know he had a mask then, but I didn't know he had it when he had a debut in NXT. I didn't know that.
And I would do that if they don't gonna bring, if they think Cruz del Toro and Wilder aren't ready to go up, because personally I don't think Elektra Lopez, wrestling wise, isn't ready to go up to the main roster. Her matches are not that great, but I keep saying, and I say it week after week, they could still bring her and let her 6 months without wrestling, get her ready to work with the main roster ladies, then make her wrestling debut. Hey, this is the company that had CJ Perry, aka Lana, who
I was just about to interrupt you and say that too. Lana.
For crap. And she was there being a vignette with Rusev, and they made her in the ring, and she still stinked in the ring. And they still made it work. They can still make it work with Elektra Lopez, in my opinion. And then the next thing, right. And the next thing that had me tour, Terrence, was I think Cruz and Toro and Alexa are gonna be traded for Santos, and I think they're gonna get the victory for Tony D'Angelo, and they could kind of say, now we're gonna stay, like kind of saying we're not ready to go to main roster, we're gonna stay here. You go.
Yeah, that's the big question now involving that match is, are they gonna side with Santos or are they gonna side with Tony? Because now it's more of like, who are they gonna side with? This is gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
right. That's
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that could be like, that's the main deciding factor too.
That's gonna be fun because you never know what's gonna happen with that. You don't know what's happening, because to be honest with you, if they really wanted to keep the storyline, there's 3 Legado Fantasma and 2 D'Angelos. Now that's Two Dimes ain't there no more. You got numbers. Once you just overthrown the D'Angelo, they can't get in the turf war. They're only 2 or 3. You don't got the numbers. Actually 4 if you put the Madrina in there. You know, so there is there's no strength in numbers there. But you know, it's wrestling. We get it. It'll be interesting to see how that goes there because, like I said, will be interesting. I'm interested. I'm invested. I like Santo Escobar. So if you guys are going to Heatwave, bring your Polaroids, bring your cameras, take a lot of pictures because that's the last time you're going to see Santo Escobar in NXT, possibly, in my opinion.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And take advantage of the legado. So that'll probably be the last time they play it, unless they stay and they play that music.
They better not get rid of that music when they bring him up to the main roster. They better not get rid of the name like they did these other people. They just better keep it.
They'll play like a Matador. They'll play like a Matador music.
Oh, hell no. As soon as you said that, that reminded me of what was that little? Remember when it was Primo and they had that little mini bull.
Oh my God, that was terrible. They weren't even, and the thing is, they're not even Mexican, they're Puerto Ricans, and they play them with the bulls. Like, dude, what are you doing? Wrong culture.
He got all the attention, and Primo and they were just like, we're just here, you know.
Oh my
God! The only time it
yeah.
ever worked was with Andrade.
That's it. And Tito Santana.
Yeah.
That's it. But we'll move on. We're all excited. We cannot wait to see when they're gonna put that. If they open up with that, what a way opening up Heatwave.
Ooh, what a way to open up.
Bro, they do that, bro.
Yeah, already gonna break our hearts at the beginning.
I'm gonna make sure my phone is charged so I can get some pictures. Right at the beginning.
So we move on. We see the beautiful Tiffany Stratton walking down NXT. She's gonna go into a room, not cool, calm, collective. Going in there in the room, outside, behind the door is the Boo, the Chew, Wendy Chew. She turns the lights off, and the Chew just beats the living crap out of Stratton, just in the dark. One thing I noticed for beating Wendy Chew up, no wardrobe malfunction. Now, Last Legend gets in the ring and she just wrists her arms up, and she's got a wardrobe malfunction, a strap. And meanwhile, Chew beats up Stratton, and no wardrobe malfunction. And like, what's going on here? But all in all, they're setting up that match for Heatwave. Let me ask you this: are we seeing Tiffany Stratton turning into a face in For Our Eyes here? Because Wendy Chew, all the moves she does is all heels. Wendy Chew tried to burn Mandy in the tanning salon, also throwing things, throwing liquids and all that stuff. That's kind of all heelish type of deal. But
right,
do you think Tiffany's turning face in front of her eyes?
I think Wendy Chew, as far as so think about it, Wendy Chew, her character, I think it's more so of her being a big kid. And you can't really, I guess you can. You can't really look, in my opinion, look at a big kid as a bad human being or bad kid or something, person. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think about it till you said that, because I don't really see Tiffany as a baby face right now. I don't know. That's in my opinion.
Well, in my opinion, I think it's not really turning face, because when you look at Wendy Chew, it's more of just like a kid pulling pranks on somebody. So, it's more of just like just pranks, most likely. She's gonna most likely stay as a heel, but for all of this to pan out, I don't really see her going as a face. She's most likely just gonna stay as a heel.
All right, we'll move on with that then. Tiffany,
just
Wendy Chew.
This thing.
She looks good though.
Yeah.
So we get a tag team match here. To me, one of my favorites. We get Elise Minofe and Malik Blade taking on the former NXT champion, tag team champions Elton Prince and Kit Wilson, better known as Pretty Deadly. And the match, every week, I say it week after week, Elfe and Malik Blade, they look good as individual as well as a tag team. They're getting greater and greater each and every match I really enjoyed. To me, that was the match. Outside of the couple other matches, this was the match of the night for me. Personally, I enjoyed this one a lot. I thought I was very invested. I'm a big, anyway, a Pretty Deadly fan. Anyway, they're pretty cool. What was your thoughts on this match here? Before the way they had the match, the program there with Pretty Deadly. But again, another wardrobe malfunction for Pretty Deadly spilling their pants.
They need to get better wardrobe because
Yeah.
they need to get better tights because they can't be working with ripping their pants every time. But overall, you know Pretty Deadly and they're good as a tag team. I don't really like them that much, but as a team, they work very good, especially with their maneuvers that they have, their tag maneuvers that they do.
Yeah. I mean, they have good as far as their personality and like the certain things they do in the ring. They got good chemistry together, so it makes sense for them to be a tag team, which is pretty cool. Like he said, I'm not really as big of a fan as them. Not that I hate them or dislike them. I don't know. Maybe they have to grow on me. Like I'm more of a fan of Grayson Waller than I am Pretty Deadly, and that's kind of saying something. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying something. But I prefer him over them. But as far as them in the tag team match with Inoki and Sweater Vest, I think that's the reason why they lost. By the way, I think that's the reason why they lost. By the way, he didn't keep it on to the entire match like he usually does, or at least for the first half of the match. It was cool. It was pretty good match.
I like the match. I mean, I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big fan of Pretty Deadly. Me and my wife love Pretty Deadly. I think they're funny. They're ready. I think their main roster ready too. I thought they were gonna be maximum male models. I thought that was gonna be, because they're goofy, they're funny, they get it. They look like Zoolander and friends. So that's why I thought they would be the maximum male model because I thought it would be comedy. With the way we're gonna go with that with LA Knight and stuff, but it is what it is. I'm really enjoying them there. We saw they were gonna leave the match here. Out come the NXT UK champion Briggs and Jensen along with Philly and Haney. You saw that they were trying to keep that Pretty Deadly not to get involved. I thought, like I said, I always say the elbow from Ennis for a near fall was very, very exciting. I say that these Malik and Inoue get really, really good every week with their ring. They're going to be a really good team. They look young. They look the part, especially, Inoue just looks like $1 million the way he comes out with his cape and just drops it. He's well built.
Yeah, definitely.
They both got the it factor look. We saw that Prince was trying to get a chair in the ring, trying to use a chair. The referee, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the referee to ring the bell, and I thought there were going to be a disqualification, but no, the chair wasn't used. Out come Jensen grabs the chair, and he gets hit by mistake. He gets knocked out. We get a victory from Pretty Deadly for a victory. But then out of nowhere, which was the surprise of the night, you saw Lash Legend just trench Phil and Haley, and what a Matt Train. Someone took the license plate on that lady because Pretty Deadly hits the spilled milk for the pinfall. Lash Legend with a pump kick outside of the ring, and then she leaves with Pretty Deadly. They look like their group joining together. I thought it looked great. What's your thoughts, Chance?
I mean, just to comment on that ending of it, it's pretty interesting. Not a bad ending, but boom. I'm sorry. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm watching the highlights of it. she kicked her so hard, her freaking shoe came off because she just stayed with one shoe going back around.
Yeah, I saw it on the side.
That looked bad. She looked badass on that too.
Yeah, she needs to. Well, yeah, I like that. I don't like the gear that she fights in now. She needs to kind of change it a little bit, but it was good. It was pretty good. And that was interesting. Like you said it last night too. You said that was with them three standing together. It's like you never would have thought about like them three standing together and like enjoying it. So I mean, that's interesting. I wouldn't have never expected Lash Legend to be even anywhere close to associated with Pretty Deadly. But she looked like she enjoyed it. Like she was doing the whole little finger thing and everything. So You know, it's all right. You know,
I didn't even know it was gonna happen either. I was looking at Pretty Deadly, and then all of a sudden I hear boom. I was like, "What just
yeah,
happened?" See
yeah.
Lash. I was like, "Damn!" Freaking just trucked her like with the
Yeah,
boom. I was like, "Damn!" Crazy.
that
Almost look like Trick
that looked
Williams.
badass. Yeah,
Almost look
yeah,
like Trick Williams hitting
yeah.
Wes Lee.
I know all that. I know. Terrence tells me, "Damn, last legend got some big feet."
Yeah, I think I exaggerated a little bit because we don't see the performer's feet, so I just want to say there was something about that. But she does have pretty decent sized feet.
There's no Matt Riddles going around.
Somebody said Soul Ruka was the female. Somebody said Soul Ruka, the new girl, was the female Matt Riddle. I don't know how, but I
Female.
digress. That's something else. Soul Ruka, whatever her
Oh,
name was.
the surfer chick.
Yeah.
Oh, she does the best splits and all that of all of wrestling now.
Yeah.
Move over, Melina.
Yeah. Especially when she gets on the apron. I'm like, what?
And then does the handstand. I was like, damn, that was crazy.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on here. We'll see where Pretty Deadly, if they got a new friend in Lash Legend, what would it do for Lash Legend going forward? And if that's gonna help Pretty Deadly capture those UK titles. You know, they are from UK, and let's see if they help. But Lash Legend's been working a lot on NXT UK lately. She's been doing a lot of matches there, so maybe that's a little bit for them to help the UK brand, the NXT UK, having Lash Legend over there, work a program with the current champions to help that NXT UK product. It'll be interesting to see there. We get a promo there to see pretty toxic attraction. You know, you saw Jace likes to buy rock CDs while Gigi just drinks in a bar. That's why she's putting on a little bit of a gut. You know, alcohol. You gotta, honey, you can't be drinking that alcohol, man. You gotta get a little chunky there. You know. But I said a wounded animal is the most dangerous animal. So Toxic is on the prowl. Be careful because they look like they're looking for some blood.
Not for nothing. That could be something. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I'm just saying, like, not for nothing, but that little promo there could be like something, little main roster ish.
Easter egg.
But
I hope there's two Easter eggs with that. I'm glad we're going to touch this a little bit on this. One is, could it be like they're totally different places? One likes music, rock music, go all that be going, while the other one's just soaking in alcohol, and that could be a rip from Toxic, and that's why they're going to split, and one's going to go this way, they're going to go the separate ways, or like you said, they might be desperate and looking for wounded animals where they're going to look for to pounce and make people pay. So it's interesting.
Yeah, they don't need to break them up right now.
No,
what they do with them, you know.
They need to keep them going because they got that camaraderie. They look great. They work together well. You know, I know they still got some seasoning, but they work well. Don't make a mistake on breaking them up there. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes on for Toxic, for Jason and Gigi. We saw Apollo Crews, who was interviewed backstage by Mackenzie Mitchell, saying that he doesn't trust Strong, but he was happy to rack up the victory. But Grayson Waller, everyone's favorite boo, comes out to interrupt Cruz and said that he doesn't respect him. But Cruz asked him to stay closer to his face. Waller instead walks away from the shot. So they're teasing Waller and Cruz. Another one that they're going to check. Another test. Waller's next to take the main test. You're ready. If you're ready to see how we work with Apollo, to see if you're ready to come up, because he's a perfect heel that you could bring up, and he will get heat no matter where he goes.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I think he's the one that when he debuts on the roster, he's gonna get a major pop. But then, like, as his storyline or whatever he's developing in, it's gonna be like back to that natural-ish, kind of like a mixture, but like still kind of similar to how it is here in NXT.
Yes, and that's what they want. I think they got a guy. I think they got a good one here when it comes to Grayson Waller. I think, and I would not change his name. Leave it as Grayson Waller. Don't change his name. I think it's fine.
Hell no.
Yeah, like that damn Waller, perfect. Like, oh, that damn Waller, that's perfect there. Yeah. So we can finally get to the main event. The main event of the night is Cora Jade taking on Zoey Stark. We got a lot of implications, but before the match starts, when the ladies are in the ring, the music hits, the NXT World Champion comes out. Mandy Rose will join the broadcast, and she sat next to Wade Barrett. Boy, did Wade Barrett, all the way where we were sitting, he was cheesing, having her sitting next to him.
He was like,
He was
she's
cheesing
next to
hard.
He put on cologne. He was putting on cologne. He was going nuts.
He pulled a chair out. I bet if you go watch the highlights of that match and you see when she comes out, you can hear him on commentary just going crazy.
Man, yes,
Out,
indeed.
man.
And then she was dressed the way very nice as well for Mandy. And of course, the match begins with Jade pushing Stark, but Stark responds with a shoulder tackle, showing her power. Stark's got Jade in a small package for a near fall. Then they got in a la Costa for another near fall. Starks hits her with an arm drag, and before Jade gets into the ropes, I love the way she uses the ropes, like get it away, get it away. This heel turn from Cora Jade, I love it. I've never been more invested. She looks like she's grown up in front of her eyes, Terrence.
Yeah. I haven't seen much of her, but from what I've seen thus far from her being a babyface to now being the heel, she's transitioned pretty well. She looks like she's more comfortable in that role. You can tell, like, even like sometimes we're in the crowd and it's like on commercial or whatever. A little, like, you would think she would do like a little kayfabe and say hey to the fans or go like sign some autographs or something. But like I don't know if you caught it, Don, but when she had she was on the top rope and somebody, I think it was a fan or somebody, had a sign up or something, and she had pointed at it and then she like made like a boo-hoo crying face or something. Everybody started booing.
No, it was in the front. In the front, there's a kid with a sky blue shirt. It's a Cora Jade shirt that he made. He loves Cora Jade, a big fan who loves her or whatever. I think he asked her to marry her or whatever, something there like that. So the kid, got up and showed the T-shirt. She looked at it. She wanted to throw up. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can actually backtrack a little bit. Her new theme in Titantron. Wow.
Beautiful. Phenomenal.
Beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The music, I was rocking out. I was like, wow, this is great. And then the thing with the broken skateboard, I was like, oh, that's real nice. It's a good touch right there.
Now she comes out with a Kindle stick.
With a bat. Oh, what was it, a stick?
It's a Kindle stick.
Yeah, a painted all in all black.
Painted all black Kindle stick.
Well, regardless,
so
the way she came out
cheesy.
with that. The way she
So
came
it
out
doesn't
with
look
that,
cheesy.
it was,
Mhm.
Yeah. It looked pretty damn badass.
It does.
Like it. Yeah, Cora Jade is, as a heel, it's great because as we can see, she really gets the heat from the fans and stuff. I really like it. It's because it shows her that she's really who she should be instead of her being a face. I mean, yeah, we liked her as a face more, but as a face, she kind of had that heelish taste a little by little as we saw unfolding. And as a heel, yeah, this is perfect. I like it.
Yeah, and then the good thing about the match, whenever she looked to the crowd, she kept looking at Terrence.
Oh yeah, like when
You couldn't keep her. She had your eyes all over you, bro.
Not only her, but Ariana Grace too. I'm telling you, when they get hit or something like that or whatever, and they kind of like glance out, yeah, they're not totally like out of it. They see your boy over here.
Yeah, no. She goes, that's the Don right there that always likes all my pictures. He's the one that follows me on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start following her on Instagram, but I already followed Ariana Grace. She looked at me twice, actually maybe 3 times or whatever when she was days. Like, hell, Mandy Rose looked over here. Nah, I'm just mad. Nah, but I was like, yo, you see she looked at me, she see something over here, man.
Yeah, so then
call your boy. Go ahead, my man.
So I saw a lot of false finishes. We saw some victory rolls for near finishes. Jade went for a second elevated knee, but Starks reversed it. You go a face slam on Jade. Jade got it back, and Stark invaded her back, hit her with a German suplex where the kendo stick went flying. All in all, I love the fact that she did a belly to back GTS Jade for the pinfall win, and you saw the staring look from Mandy Rose, like, oh, I gotta fight this one. Cora didn't do my dirty work. I love the match. The match was pretty good. There was a little bit, just a little small section where it was a little, hey, come on, Zoey, get it sharp a little bit because you're gonna go to the main roster. But I liked it from the knees, the hammerlock, DDT. It was good. Beans, what your thought of the whole work and the finish? I loved it.
I loved it too, especially how Roxanne came from out of nowhere to take the kendo stick away from her. Yo, I can't lie, Zoey Stark's finisher, that GTS right there, man, that looks crazy. I was like, wow, that move is so cool.
The GTS. That's worth the GTS.
Overall, the match was great. I loved it, and for Mandy Rose to try to sneak in and try to get a shot at Zoey Starks with the title, and then reversed it into the GTS. Also, man, this is gonna be a match to see on Heatwave.
Yes. I don't think the Don saw that. Did you see that? Because I think you guys left.
I left there. I was just about to leave when she got hit with that GTS because I wanted to get on the bus. Because last time I took almost the second to last bus out of there, and I got home late, so I paid the price in the morning. But it was all right. It was worth it. But but all in all, I did see that where Mandy Rose got hit with the GTS. I saw with Perez and Cora. Perez could not get her hands on Jade. She was running away from her. That was pretty cool. I like that cat and mouse chase there. You don't have to. You could run away, a typical heel fashion, not getting your hand. The face can't get their hand at chase to build up for when they have their match. Finally get their hands on. It's exciting. So I like that. I like that. All in all, let me ask you guys, Heatwave, new women's champion, Terrence.
No, because I don't know. I don't think Mandy should go back up to the main roster. Not saying that that's what's going to happen if she loses, but it will make sense. So, like, if she loses, obviously the factor for her to go back up to the main roster will be, like, that idea will be on the table. So, but that's how I look at it. If she loses, she goes up. But also if she loses, the storyline obviously could continue because they have some more pay-per-views or premium live events or whatever that they can set up another match between those two. So, like, as far as that goes, I kind of see it both ways, but I'm leaning more towards Mandy retaining it. Like, I don't see Zoey as lead champion just yet.
Okay. Beans, your thoughts? New champion, yes or no?
And new champion, Zoey Stark, especially because she's also coming off an injury with her knee. She's also suffered an ACL injury, unfortunately, and she's able to come back. The comeback story from her coming off of injury, winning the Battle Royale, and finally beating Mandy Rose to win the championship, it would be great as a story. For Mandy Rose, she has been giving hints on Twitter saying that she wants to be back on the main roster. But I'm thinking more, if Zoey were to win it, I would like to see a rematch. Yeah. I would like to see it.
I got mixed reactions. Because one is, I think, like you said, she's been throwing hints, especially going into business with Sonya Deville in Los Angeles for those donut shop.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, she's venturing in money, and I don't, if you're traveling with Raw, you up and down, it's easier because your partner's there. You could talk, and although they could still talk even being in the Performance Center, but Orlando, I don't know. That's one thing, trying to think whatever's going on in her real personal life compared to in performance wise. Just if she wins the belt, personally, I would do this. I will have Mandy Rose continue to win the title, although because I've seen a couple matches with her, and she's slow. She's still like, dude. I was like, lady, please sell your moves more. You're not selling when you're beating up on the ladies. You see her just and not touching, and like, you gotta sell it if you want to go back on the main roster. You gotta look so they could, because you're gonna get lost in the women's. You're gonna end up being in a 24/7 type of role. in comedy or with Otis, and it's not gonna. We want you to be. We want her to have kind of like a Ziggler type of, former NXT champion that goes into the main roster again. And look at Ziggler now. He's gonna be in against Lashley next week and so forth. And I want to see something like that for Mandy Rose. I don't want it to go back, take one step forward here in NXT, could get that the way she dominated with Toxic, and then she's back again to a jobber or don't know, misplaced. Personally, if she were to go when she's ready for the main roster, I would have her just drop the title, the typical bad girl, mean girl, bitch way. Like, you know what? I had enough. I ramped. The same went to like the way Oscar dropped the title and just left, and have a tournament. Set up a tournament. I think we'll get invested. A tournament with pick up 10, 5 or 8 ladies and put them there, and just have that tournament the way they had the breakout, and just go with the tournament and crown a woman champion. It'll be phenomenal. I think it'll get us invested for a couple of weeks in NXT to watch more who's going to be in this tournament. And I think it will work if that way were to go that way there. Just me, just something different. I will go that way.
Yeah, you need to get Triple H's email or something, dude.
The same thing I have. Here's another idea. I was telling Terrence, don't you think we should have? I understand. Forget about the other promotions. Forget about all. I think NXT also needs a North American women's champion.
All right, don't get carried away now. No, I'm just.
I think they need. I think they need like a mid card. Could you see? And also for a lady, or have it for. And once you have your champion, or if you're not going to do the North American champion, every 6 months have a tournament for a breakout lady of the year of I guess the year or breakout, for whatever the quarter. Some lady and reward whoever's working their ass off in the performance center, who comes in and only the pony, and even if it's between the producers, who comes to work every day, who's putting in the hard work as a wrestler, who's getting better on their promos, who's getting better in their ring ability, and reward them with this tournament and let them win. Get some money, even if it's a facetious money, $1 million, whatever, something, or that a queen of the ring segment tournament type of deal. Those are things too. It also helps the talent to get better in NXT for trying to put harder work if they want it. And I think that's also another way. And I know it's gonna get lost. Well, would it be a politic game because it's scripted? Yeah, it might be. It is scripted, but let them people behind the scenes who see who's working, put in the work as a wrestler, taking the bumps, learning how to do a freaking suplex clean, or learning how to get put in a suplex where they're not gonna hurt themselves, and so the product can get better in the ring. Well, as viewers, and it's not just arm locks or limited wrestling. They now expand a little more wrestling moves because there's a reward for these wrestlers. I understand. The reward is they don't get cut, they don't get terminated or released. I understand that, but you want them still to get better and work harder. So I don't know, those incentives.
I think that's a great idea, and just like having, and just talking about the wrestling portion of that as well. Like they should have more. We talked about it last night. Bring back those tournaments that NXT had before, or even something like 205, or they had the women's tournament too. Like what I was saying too. Like that's what Rhea Ripley made her bread and butter. Now you see where she's at. Or even have like a little like men's tournament in there like as well. So it's just like another a little bit more. Few ideas for NXT to do. We'll bring back to make more better competition, because as you were saying throughout the entire podcast, like there's a few stars here on this roster that's already main roster ready. So eventually they're gonna go up, and you're gonna need more stars to be in NXT. And to do that, have more of those tournaments that you had before. Have a little like sideshow. Like I said, 205 Live, that was like a sideshow or something like that. Maybe kind of level up a little bit more, and just kind of like have them, build their star up a little bit more to where they can get on the NXT roster, leading until them one day being on the main event roster or something like that. So just little ideas like that,
Yeah,
it makes for much better competition.
I would say that their breakout tournaments they're always good, because especially when it's always the finals and stuff. Like when we had the women's breakout tournament when Roxanne won it, it was like a big pop when she won it. It
Yeah.
was great. So
Mhm.
for them to do more of those breakout tournaments, I would like to see that. It's great because especially how at the end they'll get a little contract that gives them a shot at the title. I'd love to see that. The breakout tournaments, they've been great. I'd love to see more of them.
I agree.
Yeah.
We do like a Mae Young Classic. Bring them back. Dusty Rhodes
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Memorial.
definitely.
Bring them,
Yeah,
bring them in here. Bring them in here. Those tournaments. Give me those tournaments. New Japan does it with the right now. Well, currently right now, right? Is it a G? What's it called? G.
the G1.
G1 tournament coming out there. You had the Supers in June. Give us some tournament. You don't have to copy and paste all the other wrestling organizations, but make your own original. Be your own. WWE, you set the standards. Make a tournament here for the young, up inspiring talent. We saw that in SummerSlam. They had a bunch of wrestling tryouts where we saw that even Dwight Howard tried out wants to be
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
NXT star. So reward these guys, reward these tournaments. You never know. There's a lot of good indie wrestlers out there. That could be an opportunity to sign on in NXT, develop into the main roster, and you always have a new flux of young, good talent. And also, you make a third brand here with NXT. And yes, everybody wants the black and gold, but you know what? If the 2.0 is doing what we're doing with these tournaments and developing and getting these wrestlers where you're going to see moves, you're going to see finishes, you're going to see suplex, you're going to see F5s. You might get to see not just an armbar and not, we don't even hardly see body slams much in NXT, but with some of the wrestlers. So we want to see some of those things because they want to work safe. So these things reward these ladies and men in there, and I think if they do that, I think it will phenomenal, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to cover NXT. I've been doing it now for a few months now, and now with Samurai from time to time. Hopefully, Beans you become a regular as Terrence always. I would love for you guys to always come on. Let's talk NXT, man. And
Yeah.
anything else with NXT? I want to give you a little bit of freestyle hour with WWE. If you want to mention anything, go for it.
So you know how they're doing this whole deal right now with Apollo kind of being in two different storylines, I guess you want to say, with one with Diamond Mine and then also a potential one with Grayson Waller. What do you think about after Grayson Waller's feud is over with Apollo Cruz, excuse me, and then when JD is done with Braun Breaker, to maybe have a Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller rivalry,
Works.
right?
It works because
I think he can.
Right.
Mhm. I think Grayson Waller can. No disrespect to Braun Breaker, but I think as far as like promo wise, Grayson Waller can heat up Braun Breaker.
Oh yeah, of course, because
You know?
Grayson Waller, the way he gets heated on the mic, it's good. Even though it's like, hey, I don't like this guy, that he's doing his job. He's really knows how to work the mic. I gotta give him props for that.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like that would be something to see. Like that would. We know Braun Breaker has gotten better progressively in the ring and on his promos and stuff like that. You know how it was last week when he had to talk with JD, but he can definitely like step up his game a little bit more going up against, just in promo wise, against Grayson Waller. That would be something very, very interesting. I would be very interested in seeing that for sure.
Right. I would like to see that because I would like to see more of Braun on the mic because he has that factor on the mic. I'd just like to see it more because he'll say a few things and then end it there. I'd like to see Braun
Yeah,
Breaker on the mic, develop his skills more on the mic because I see the potential that he's got it because the people would probably be like, oh, he's just another Steiner. He probably might
hmm
be like doing the math again, probably messing up on the mic again. But
Holla
no,
if you hear me.
holla if you hear me. 33%, right?
dye his hair white and stuff.
Yeah, but I'd like to see him develop more on the mic. I think he's got it. He's got it on the mic. I know he can do it.
I agree. I agree with you on that. I agree with that. I really like that. for Grayson Waller and Braun Breaker if he retains from JD McDougal going forward. I know people don't like his reigns as the NXT champion, but come on, give the kid a break. He's fighting Joe Gacy. He's the man. His feuds are. It is what it is. Don't be surprised if it's not Grayson Waller. It will be Von Wagner.
Ooh, yeah.
Two powerhouses.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the dislike for Wagner. I think he's a freaking powerhouse, man. I think he's like a weird version of Big John Studd, more athletic. I like why I don't know what the dislike. I like Von Wagner as a performer.
It looks like he's coming from the '80s or something like that. Like he looks carved out for the main roster, but he's not ready for the main roster, in my opinion. But
okay,
like I don't dislike him. What I'm saying, like as far as like him going up against Braun, but that's why I was like, no. But what do you? So how would you think about that storyline? How do you think that storyline will go? Grayson Waller and Braun Breaker.
I think will go great because you're gonna have again. I know that's the long hanging fruit, but you have Grayson Waller attacking his lineage with his father, his uncle. Saying, and just attack on that. I know everyone goes for that. Like, oh, that's low hanging fruit. But just him, just being that slithering snake that Waller is, getting away from him, getting a beat down from him, and just escaping in that chase, that will get everyone invested because the heat that he gets, and Braun Breaker can't get his hands on him because he's so much of a goody two shoes, and says you can break it. Similar to the way Joker would tell Batman. You're not gonna break your own rules. You're not gonna cross the line, and tease it that way. Where that and I know Joe Gacy tried that, but it
just didn't pan out.
It didn't pan out.
Yeah,
not yet.
I like that.
I still feel like he has to carve out his own. He has to kind of. And I'm sure I don't know if he kind of sees it this way low key or not, but I think he kind of has to get away from the Bray Wyatt factor-ish kind of deal. Unless he's just like that. I don't know.
When you grab a chance in Instagram, follow Joe Gacy. Dude is a badass in the indies. This guy.
Yeah, I know him from the indies because, former from CZW, he was insane, especially, but before then, Joe Gacy, he was a badass, especially when he used to come out with paint and everything. He basically was insane looking, and now with the paint, with the gimmick that he has now, it's like everybody.
You get hungry. You want breadsticks.
Yeah, it's he just looks like another like Bray Wyatt, but his gimmick wise, but I don't know. It kind of seems like he should go back into like his CZW type look again with a jacket and everything, looking all crazy and stuff. I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
You think that they don't do it because that was like kind of like what Dexter Lumis used to be in NXT with the jacket and the Hatchet Man and all that?
For me, I think that they're trying to have if you see how they bring indie wrestlers into NXT now, not like how it was in the black and gold era, they're trying to have them see what they can do differently as what they were beforehand. Like they're trying to, give them new stuff to work on, see what they can do.
They want to see their creative and their abilities, their limitation and their abilities on creative and getting over, reinventing themselves if they have it.
Right.
They want to see how far their range is too.
Correct. And then if they're one-dimensional, if they're multifaceted where they could get a gimmick that will work, then you know what? We got something to work here because we know we got a guy that we could reinvent themselves or reinvent them and won't lose the heat so we can invest in long-term.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's the guy. That's the type of guy you need nowadays. The one that can reinvent themselves. It's like when one character gets stale, they can switch it up a little bit and kind of like add new elements to it and make it more fresh again. Kind of like similar to Undertaker.
Yeah,
Perfect
Undertaker,
example.
Jericho has that ability. you Edge, we've seen a bunch of the
Mhm.
guys that reinvent themselves, that change their gimmicks, that works.
And at the right time too. They just can't. Or
Yeah.
it can be like, for example, where like they have one gimmick and it's super hot, but then all of a sudden they change it out of nowhere, which is very bad timing because you don't need that. Like you can feel when it's right and when it's starting to like go down a little bit. Like what I was just going back to the Undertaker when he was with the Ministry of Darkness. Like I don't know if you guys like watched as much of it as I did, but like you could tell when he got in a tag team with the Big Show, you could just tell like he had the Ministry of Darkness and it was still kind of going, but then like as the weeks progressed, like you could tell they was kind of dying down a little bit, and ironically he had a injury that he had to deal with. So hey, why not take advantage of this downtime being injured and come up with another way of like reinventing yourself and kind of breaking away from the rolling of the eyes and just kind of going similar to how you are in real life a little bit. So it's
Most
just all
likely.
about
Mhm.
reinventing yourself.
Yeah, indeed, and that's the way. That's the fun part. Some of these guys that we've been around with the business for a while, but they reinvent themselves. They make it fresh. They make something different.
Mhm.
They got a new story to tell, and as a fan, we love it. We enjoy it. We watch that, and I think that's what they're doing with those indie talents coming into NXT and going forward there, and not for nothing, week after week, NXT is getting better. It's getting much more better. It's getting,
Yeah.
it's not the way what like in Gold was, where it was like, oh my god, it was the best wrestling show, period. But we shall see here with Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, and the creative there. Devon, remember Devon is part of that, part of the producers in NXT as well. So it is fun.
Testify.
That's right, dude.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see how they're going to continue developing. They got a whole new crop of new folks coming in. We have the MMA fighter Valerie Lorena. I saw her on my way out when I was leaving. I said hello to her. That was cool. That
Yeah.
was for me the highlight because I'm a big, we do MMA weekly here with my son Austin and Chef Dan, and we cover the MMA, and we cover her. We covered her on her match and to see an MMA fighter there. It was cool to see her there. Also, we got some more good wrestling talent. We finally saw Bronco make his wrestling debut. The security that,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was I liked
Security
him.
guard. They got that dude's big. Like you see him outside in person, he's like, oh okay. Yeah. But when he first came out, you see that pop he got. It's like, oh, that's the security guard. Oh, what was that? And I
That was
wanted them to
cool.
win, but that was just them
Yeah,
just debuting like that. It was pretty cool. So
that was cool to
that's
see
a
him
that's a
finally
win
in the
for
ring.
them.
Yes, yes, yes. His brother was there. It was good to see that. But guys, anything else there before we get going? I mean, it was fun, man. It didn't feel like we've been on for 120 minutes. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think NXT last night was it last night? Yeah, last night was good. Just wait till Heatwave. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Wait
Indeed.
till Heatwave, bro.
Heat wave is gonna be crazy. This
That card
set of
is
matches
stacked.
is. Whew, can't wait.
Yes, like the word of Bart Scott. Can't wait, man. It's been fun, folks. Beans, Terrence, I can't wait to see you guys next Tuesday. Definitely there for Heat Wave. I'll definitely, if you guys, if I get there, I will definitely hold your spot. So don't come on over and say hello, and just stick right there and have a conversation.
But you know what? I was surprised. I was surprised because I had to work yesterday, and usually when I get there, it's like the second row or the third row or something is not available. So like when I got there, like one of the NXT people was just like, "So yeah, we have down there by the ring, we have like the second or third row available." I was like, "What? Okay, nice. I'm going down there immediately." And then the Don was down there, so I was like, "Okay,
I said,
perfect."
yo, he's gonna. This seat is taken right here. Get out, move over, Pug. Move over, Hunt. Move over, Bacon. This is my pals right here. And of
Yeah,
course, we
Zion
have
Quinn.
Beans. You saw Beans was right in the center with his buddy. We were like, hey, we're right here, man. We got it. Well,
Yeah.
We
Yeah, it
here.
was crazy showing up early. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get down there. But when the seats were empty, I was like, wow, man, it's first time being in the front for once.
hmm Yeah, that's the
uh,
exact thing I said. They be
it's
camping
fun.
out that they be camping out that entire day. The people that be in the front row,
Oh
They
yeah.
be camping out there. They have their tents and
11.
stuff like that.
I give you
11,
an insight.
12.
11 o'clock they're there.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah. And
That's
if it rains, it doesn't stop them. Yeah, they got their tents, but then they also got their chairs and out there. They got their snacks. They
They
just
got
out
their
there chilling,
food.
man. They dedicated to that front row.
Yeah. too
That's really much what it is. Burning from the front row, man. Yeah. But thank you guys. I appreciate guys. Thank you for watching. Everyone watching along with us on the video in Twitch, YouTube, Facebook app, and as well as the Rumba. Thank you so much, and all the audio platforms. Find us here on the Heal the Ring podcast on the BX Sports Jedi Network. Follow us, and we have 2 words for you guys. If you ain't down with us, just subscribe. So, again, say goodnight, Beans.
Good night, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, Terrence.
Yes, sir. Good night. That's all it is, and that's all it's going to be.
And real quick, in memoriam for the wrestler formerly known as Eugene passed away. Just wanted to mention that. Unfortunately, he passed away. I don't know what he passed away of, but Eugene was featured always at my closing of the program. So thank you, Eugene, for being part of the program there.
Yeah, thank you, Eugene, man.
Rest
Always,
in peace.
always love to see him on Raw, man. Back in the early 2000s, man. It was great, man. Rest in peace, Eugene. Missed you a lot.
All right,
I
man.
did not know that.
Happened. I saw it this morning. I was like, oh, son of a gun. I use them on my promos.
Man.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm gonna put the intro, and if we want to say goodbye in the backstage, hang out. If not, we'll see you Tuesday. But guys, thank you again. We'll be back for the AEW review and the SmackDown review coming up.
I'm awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen,
My thoughts
just in
get
case
so
you
bad,
live
I'm
under
like,
a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
it that
looking
I
at
don't
the
know. My
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
fastest
boils
rising
over
star
like.
in
Oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things. Realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up. Let me show you why.